Good evening, I'm Michael Steele. Apostolica sedes vacans. The Apostolic See is vacant. The Vatican website announced the death of Pope Francis today. The 88-year-old pontiff passed away early this morning, just hours after delivering a plea for peace and human kindness. The Easter message turned out to be his last. Masses and memorials are being held worldwide, from Bethlehem to Southeast Asia, to remember the man known as the People's Pope. On Wednesday, the Pope's body will be moved to St. Peter's Basilica, where he will lie in state ahead of his funeral. Reactions from around the world, from world leaders, are pouring in, from Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni of Italy, who called Pope Francis a great man, to President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, who called him a humanist, to President Duda of Poland, who honored the Pope as, quote, a great apostle of mercy, in which he saw an answer to the challenges of the modern world. Joining me now is Michelle Bornstein, religious reporter at The Washington Post, and Kathleen Sprose Cummings, professor of American Studies and History at Notre Dame, who is an expert on Pope Francis and Catholicism. Welcome to you both. I'm really excited to have you both here because you both represent two very interesting perspectives of covering this Pope. And I'll put it this way, sort of the street view level for Michelle as a reporter out there doing the beat stuff, and Kathleen sort of that inside-outside understanding of how the Vatican works around this Pope. I want to start with you, Kathleen, in the sense that I want to play up front what global leaders are offering as their tributes, and ask you a question about it on the other side. Oh, it's a full screen. I'm sorry, my bad. Italy, a great man and a great pastor. America, may God bless him and all who loved him. France wanted the church to bring joy and hope to the poorest. Brazil, humanity is losing a voice of respect and acceptance of others. Australia, a devoted champion and loving father. Kenya, unwavering commitment to inclusivity and justice. India, a beacon of compassion. The Netherlands, in every way a man of the people. UK flag, tireless commitment to the common causes of all people of faith. Ireland, unwavering commitment to the principles of compassion, peace, and human dignity. Germany, tireless commitment to the weakest in society, to justice and reconciliation. You can begin to see, Kathleen, the theme there of why people refer to him as the People's Pope. How did he see himself? And what do you surmise from what you know about him and learned about him over the course of his papacy he would want his legacy to be?
I think he saw himself as a spiritual leader of the world, but as you can see, he was a global leader. He was a leader on the world stage, much admired, who had a presence throughout the world, who traveled throughout the world, who came from a part of the world to be the first person from that part of the world as Pope. Pope Francis saw himself as a sinner who had been touched by God's mercy. That was actually his papal motto. And he wanted everyone in the church to see that God's mercy was open to them. And he wanted to meet people where they were. He wanted the church to go out into the margins or to the peripheries, as he often said, and to know that God loved them and that the church was there to accompany them. And he foregrounded mercy as the keynote of his papacy throughout all of it. And I think it was just absolutely beautiful to see him in the crowd yesterday on Easter Sunday, going through the crowd, obviously ailing, but still joyful to be with the people, and gave a beautiful Easter message, his final message, and his last day on earth was the greatest day in the Christian calendar. So I think it's terribly sad, but wonderfully poignant that he died today.
In so many ways, Michelle, that last point, the poignancy of passing at the end of the most important part of the Catholic calendar, the Christian calendar, in celebration of Easter, you have reactions, and as I referred before, you know, you're sort of the beat pulse of things. Let's listen to folks out there who responded to the news today.
What do you think he means to the world?
The world? I think it's just this one word, kindness. Good heart.
Kindness and like peace, and inner peace as well.
I like his compassion. I liked what he stood for.
It's pretty much devastated all of us.
It's a moment of a bit of sadness and at the same time thankfulness and celebration of life.
Kindness, peace, a celebration of the everyman that this Pope tried to provide and inspire all of us to be a part of. What's your take in sort of covering this Pope and seeing the developments within the church during his papacy, certainly with respect to a lot of controversy around sexual abuse issues and money issues, and this idea of creating this sort of solidarity among the cardinals and bishops themselves?
Well, I think now we've had this Pope for 12 years who's such a, is a pop culture figure. I mean, he's a newsmaker. He's he's a popular figure. And we're so used to seeing somebody like that we forget that popes weren't really like that before. We didn't really pay that much attention. I mean, back in the day, Catholics didn't even know who the Pope was.
Right.
So I think that he dove into this moment. I mean, he's often, talked about being unafraid of modernity and progress and things like that. But also the world really changed in these years. Whoever the new Pope is going to be is going to also reckon with social media, the flattening of institutions, et cetera. So I think he really embraced, in a way that was very successful, sort of this, this accessible everyman who paid for his own hotel bill and, is being buried someplace that's more modest than usual popes and that kind of thing. When people asked him, who is he? He said, I'm a sinner. So he was really about kind of flattening things instead of not so much, people talk about changing doctrine. I think he was really just more about saying kind of we're all in this together, that he's like an everyman. We all are sinners. We all have challenges, that kind of thing.